of dreary down here. So it's raining yesterday and still damp outside. Grew up north, so it'd be cold. So that's the one advantage of being down here. Cold is never going to be cold the way it is up north. And what we consider as bad weather is actually ideal up north. So do we have anything to complain about? No. I can deal with a little moisture. Just don't rain on me during the football game. We got Florida, Georgia coming to Jacksonville this weekend. Big weekend. Lot of money flowing around. So if you're a hustler, you got some ambition to make some extra change, on down to Jacksonville, man. I'll be out there with my little Uber light on, trying to make a few extra bucks. But I'm looking forward to that. Just hope the weather clears up by then, and most of the time it probably will. How you doing, JC? Before I get into Kansas City, I just want to recap what I said yesterday. I felt that Brian Kelly's big problem at LSU, he didn't really fit in. And they kind of look at him in the same manner as they looked at the carpetbaggers back in 1865. He's no different than a northern invading territory that they don't think he should be in. And the first opportunity that they have to get rid of him, they were going to take that. And I compare him directly to Kellen DeBoer with Alabama. You know, they want to kill him and everything else after losing to Florida State. Even though Florida State had 6, 7, 8 months to get ready for him, anybody can win the opening day, especially if you don't know what that other team is going to do. But what have they done since? All the things that the people complained about, there's no fight in the team. It look like the sideline is dead and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, they go on this winning streak. And the same things that they say weren't present are the reasons why they won in the game. There's no backing to what a lot of fans say. And if you have knee-jerk reactions to what the fans say, then you're going to find yourself getting rid of a coach prematurely. Think New York Knicks. Not necessarily saying that Brian Kelly is one of those, but I think that he is a good coach. And I think what's going to end up happening with him, he's going to end up at Penn State. And I don't see any better fit to go up there. And right now, the question is, who's going to get or win the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes? As if Lane Kiffin is the only available coach out there. Florida seems to want him. Now LSU wants him. Just like Kurt Signetti, he'd be smart to stay right where he is because you won't have the same pressures at LSU. At Ole Miss as he's going to have at LSU. Florida's the same way. It will get rid of you quick, especially if you're not considered to be one of them. And he's already experienced that at Tennessee. And USC got rid of him, and he was more their style of coach. And they got rid of him. So you know what's going to happen when you go to LSU and you start losing. So it's amazing how things tend to work. But having said all of that, we're talking about the demise of teams. Kansas City, everybody just knew that Kansas City was just going to be dead this year. Got 0-2 start, lost to the Chargers over in Brazil. So automatically everybody wants to elevate the Chargers into the seat that Kansas City had occupied. Now, I can understand if the Chargers had beaten Kansas City by 30 or more points, then you have a reason to believe that Kansas City was dead. But just like the year before, they were missing some key pieces early in the year due to suspensions at the wide receiver position. And now they've got those pieces back, and now they seem to be hitting on all cylinders. Does that mean that they're going to carry that through to the championship? Absolutely not. Because just like Andy Reid goes through the defensive film to try to pick up on things and makes note of things, so too do the defensive coordinators. I told you, these guys do not sleep. So all of these wrinkles he put last night, for instance, he'd take the wide receiver in motion and throw him a little flat pass that would normally be a swing pass to the back out of the backfield. He was doing that with the receivers a lot last night. Okay, that's what you want to do. Let me jot that down. So when you try to pull that out in the playoffs, I'd be ready for it. So You like to show this week and then run a play off the same look, the mirror look. Okay, let me write that down so I can expect. Yeah, you might show that in the playoffs, but then you're going to turn around and try to swing it to the other side, but nobody thinks that you're going to do that. Okay, I'm just as slick as you are, Andy Reid. That's why I'm in the professional coaching ranks, and I got the personnel that can defend that. So as good as Kansas City is looking right now, that doesn't mean that they're going to continue on and get to the Super Bowl. I say that the bounce is going to go against them in the end. It's like it went their way against Buffalo last year to get back to the Super Bowl. At some point, it's going to go against them. Now, my original thought, I thought Pittsburgh, the AFC was going to have to go through Pittsburgh. But in the recent weeks, not that they lost the 2 games, I'm not concerned about the 2 games that they lost. That's par for the course in the NFL. It's just that they don't have outside receiving threats. And you got Metcalf, but the problem with Metcalf, he doesn't touch the ball a whole lot. And if he don't touch the ball a whole lot, and it's supposed to be your main guy, and you don't have anybody on the backside, on the flip side of him to take the pressure off Metcalf, then I don't see how Pittsburgh is going to be a threat. You got these tight ends. If you can throw it to them, and they can help you keep possession of the ball and chew up the clock and all of that. But you got to be consistent with that, and they got to catch the ball. But you got to find some kind of way to get DK Metcalf more productive. And you have to have another receiver besides Metcalf to get involved. I told you before, when I first saw this guy, Calvin Austin, playing with Pittsburgh, I don't see it. And unless he steps up his game, that's going to be what kills the Steelers, the production from the wide receivers. Mark it down, I'm trying to tell you. All right, Selma, what's going on, man? You see, you got JC on. The AFC North is wide open. The Browns still got playoff hopes. Look, man, I keep telling you, man, Browns don't have a shot at the playoffs. The Browns are jockeying for position for the draft next year. This is why I'm telling you, Sanders is going to get a shot because they have to know at some point if this guy can play at all. Maybe he's better than Gabriel. Maybe he's not better than Gabriel. But we got to put him out there at least once or twice just to see what it is we got. So if he comes through, we can keep him, and we got Gabriel, and we'll see if we have to draft another quarterback to throw into that mix, which to me wouldn't make any damn sense because then you have 3 quarterbacks with only a year experience between the 3. Well, you have Gabriel's experience and you have Sanders' experience, and the new guy wouldn't have any. I'm telling you what's going to happen in Cleveland. They're going to activate Deshaun Watson at some point. And after they take a look at Shador, and whether he pans out or not, the only thing that can stop Deshaun Watson from hitting the field is he doesn't get cleared medically is the first thing. And Shador just gets out there and plays where there's no reason to take him out because he's playing at a high level. Other than that, you're going to see Deshaun Watson. And when he gets out there, he's going to play better than you thought he was going to play because there's never nothing wrong with his arm. The only thing wrong with Watson was his Achilles. And if he plays well, the fans are going to forget all about whatever hate they have for him. And then if he can help them win games, they're going to be back into the fold. Watch and see. That's what's going to happen in Cleveland. Myles Garrett is frustrated with Cleveland. He said last week, let me tell you something about Myles Garrett. He had the opportunity to leave Cleveland, but when they put that money in his face, all that frustration and stuff went away. He knew when he signed that contract that the possibility of losing was still there. So it lets you know right then, yeah, I want to win, but I got this money, man, so I'm straight. I told you the story about the baseball player I had last year. My baseball team was young and struggling. Where I am, the guys come to me in the 9th, 10th grade, never played before, say, I want to play varsity baseball. Well, all the other players, they get recruited or they go somewhere else, and I'm left with whatever I got. No problem. My job is to teach them and take them from wherever they are and rise them. That's the point of a coach, right? So we are getting better as a team, but we hadn't been winning because we've been young and inexperienced. Well, this year I have those same young guys I had the last couple of years. they got a couple years varsity experience, so we have an opportunity to do much better this year than we've done. I just need to get some pitchers to get it across the plate, and I got an idea for that. But reason why I bring that up, we got to the point where we were playing whole games. We would play spot games, or we play a couple innings, and then because we didn't have the pitching, we would fall apart. But we finally put together a playoff, a game in the district playoffs. You know, everybody goes to the district, and this is where you should be playing your best ball. And it just happened to be we were playing our best ball. We go to the bottom of the seventh with a 3-run lead. Now, the problem that I had a guy that had a job. You know, that's a problem in high school. Kids need to work and they want to play and all of that. And the kid hadn't been around half the week. And I wasn't sure he was going to be there, but when I found out he was available, I put him in the DH slot. I could use him in the defense and just have somebody batting that slot. Well, that team seemed to be the magic combination. So we had a 3-run lead going to the bottom of the seventh. All we needed was 3 outs. Now dig this. This kid came to me earlier and said he was tired of losing. Okay, fine. But when it came down to it, he found out he wasn't going to hit. His attitude slowly deteriorated to the point that the players almost had to force him to go out into the field for the decisive 7th inning. So he tells me, you tired of losing, but when it came down to it, all that really mattered to you is you getting out on the field and swinging the bat. Being a kid, damn winning, you just want to go out and swing the bat and play the full game. Well, that wasn't the best combination for the team. And I say that to say it's the same thing as Myles Garrett. You talking about you tired of losing and you want to leave. You wanted to be traded, and when all that was on the table, it went away when you signed that contract. Now you come back to me again complaining about losing. Well, nobody wants to lose, but in time Cleveland will improve. But for him to come out and start talking about put your door and all that, sometimes you get what you ask for. He may be worse. He could be better, but he could also be worse. So what's he going to say if Shador get out there and sneak up the joint? You know what he's going to say? Put Deshaun Watson in. But just because the players say they want this and they want that, it don't mean anything. Watch his actions. That baseball player say he's tired of losing, but when we were winning, he didn't want to play because he hadn't been up to the plate all day. So did he really want to win, or did he just want to get out there and run around and say, hey, Mom, I'm on the baseball team, and I got a hit. Take a picture of me. It's the same thing with a lot of these high school football players. You should see them, and I've been to several schools, and they run around the hallways with the game jerseys on game day, and he's profiling with the girls and their chest all out. Then they realize, hey, we got to go play a damn game. That other team is coming to play some football. We don't want to play no football. We just want to preen and look good with the girls. And they go out there and get their head cracked. So pay attention to what these guys do instead of what they say. So I don't want to hear nothing about what Myles Garrett say about losing. He chose that when he re-signed with the Browns. Now, Voya Brown, how you doing? I ain't seen you in a while. Edwin CV, another guy I hadn't seen in a while. How you doing? Hi, Coach. Great Chiefs win. Let's see if they can go 4-1 in their next 5 games. Well, I think the object is to try to win every game, but if you don't win enough to get to the playoffs, it's not like college where you have to worry about losing too many games. I think the Chiefs are going to be okay. With the Broncos, are steady getting better. And I don't know how much you can take from the Broncos beating the Cowboys the other day, because the Cowboys don't have a very good defense. And we'll see how the Chiefs do when they play against the Cowboys. They're going to score on them too. The only thing about the Cowboys is can you stop them from scoring, and that's what the Broncos did. So they are a serious threat to Kansas City, and they keep wearing those throwback uniforms. That's really a death knell for Kansas City, because in the years they wore those uniforms, they pretty much mastered KC. And I'm just saying, these old new age uniforms they got, they don't look that good. I don't think Broncos have came up with a better uniform combination than the one they wore yesterday with that D on the side of the helmet with the horse blowing smoke. I don't see anything better than that other horse they got. That's more high schoolish. That's why you see a lot of high school teams with that same Bronco emblem. Um, in this area here, Middleburg, they wore that for a while. I don't think they have it now, but they wore that for a good little while. Don't look that good. It's more of a high school look. But that D with the horse in it, oh, that's a professional look. And those uniforms look great the other day. Maybe they should wear those all the time. But I think that the Broncos are going to be a threat to the Chiefs, and they're going to be looking for the Chargers. The Chargers weren't playing that great. They played pretty good the other day. If they can put pressure on quarterbacks like that, then there's no easy route for Kansas City, and everybody's still going to give them their best shot. And right now, everybody, and I know it's an early stretch, but it tends to work this way in the NFL. You start out slow, and then you start to get your pieces healthy, and then you find a different way to do it. And all of a sudden, you're in a race because the other teams play their way back to you. That's the case with Pittsburgh jumping out, and now they lose 2 straight. Cincinnati, they had a chance to draw a little closer. They lost. But Baltimore knocked off who that they beat the other day. I can't remember who they played. But they won the game the other day, and they got the Dolphins on Thursday with Jackson coming back. So Henry, he had his best running game in the last 3-4 weeks. If they can continue to get better and that defense find a way to slow people down, there's no reason why Baltimore can't play their way back into the race. And it's Pittsburgh's own fault. They had a chance to put a stamp on it, and they let that Cincinnati Bengals come back and knock them off. And that exposed the fact that the secondary's got problems. They got people running free. And then when you have coverage, you grab it and hold it and getting a lot of interference calls. Pittsburgh's got a lot to clean up. And Baltimore, they don't give a damn about playing Pittsburgh, just the same as Pittsburgh don't care about playing against them. But if they don't tighten up, they're going to find themselves in a race all the way to the end when they could have controlled it or put a heavy stamp on things by knocking off the Bengals. Not only is it a division loss, it's a conference loss. And that's been Pittsburgh's problem over the years. They'd be in the thick of the race, but they couldn't make the playoffs because the conference record wasn't good as some of those other teams. Now they have 3 losses, and the good thing, those 2 of those losses came from the other side, Seattle and Green Bay from the NFC. So that's a tiebreaker down the line that could hurt them. But up front, no, because they got to get past the division, then the conference tiebreaker before they ever get to that. And I think Pittsburgh's going to be all right, but they're going to have to find a way to defend. But to say right now that it's going to go through Allegheny County, as I once said, I don't see that happening right now. But they will be a threat to Kansas City or any other team in the AFC, just like Buffalo will. But if you notice, if you've been paying attention to how sports brackets work or playoffs work, it ain't really who the best teams are, it's who you have to play. You may be in a bracket where the best teams might be on the other side. And if you make it to the championship with a lesser route than the team that you're going to play, all you got to do is win one rugged game where they had to come through maybe 2 or 3 just to get to you. So a lot of times brackets make all the difference. And it's going to play out that way again this year. Half of you are saying right now that Kansas City will get back to the Super Bowl, and the other half saying no. So you guys aren't pretty much sold on the Chiefs either. But you got to admit, they looked pretty good last night, and they're going to be a threat. JC says Buffalo might be a threat to the Chiefs. Yeah, they might be. But Buffalo, I don't know. They seem like classic front runners. They're fine as long as things are going that way, but you get a little adversity toward them, problem. Same thing with the Falcons. Falcons remind me of Kansas basketball when they had Roy Williams. If you got to the NCAA tournament and Kansas was ranked number 1, they weren't going to make the Final Four because they couldn't handle the pressure. But if you ranked them 7 to 8 seed, then they were a serious threat to get to the Final Four because they felt disrespected and they played that way. That's the way Atlanta plays. They're fine when they think they can beat you. Or let me reverse that. They're fine when they aren't expected to do anything, but when they're supposed to win, they're going to lose. They got beat by the Dolphins, a team they should have beat, and they got beat by Carolina, another team they should have beat. So their problem is now that Kirk Cousins looked horrible the other day, he was on the wrong page with his receivers, and people are saying this is why they went to Michael Penix. But if you look at Michael Penix play, He's fine if he's got nobody around him. If he's got time to just throw and get out of the way, great. But you get close enough to him and watch how his passes change. He starts skipping the ball to receivers, and it looked like high school shit. I'd be like, what the hell is that, man? Throw the ball. He's getting millions of dollars to throw it. But he's throwing the ball in the dirt. I mean, I ain't never seen some of the stuff that I'm seeing now. And these people think that kids tell me in school all the time that the modern players today are better than the older players. How? They scared to get hit. They don't wear any pads. You don't see these receivers running across the middle with any fear of getting hit because they know they're not going to get hit. Defenders actually sit there and let the guy catch the ball before he tries to make a play on it. If he's not close enough to knock it away, he'll stand there and let him catch it because he's worried about getting a penalty, especially in college with that targeting crap. So pay attention to what's going on. The best, no. These guys are playing flag football, essentially, is what they're doing with pads. And it's going to get worse. So just pay attention to what's going on. Selmo says when Aaron Rodgers leaves the Steelers, they're going to need a quarterback. Yeah, they're going to need a quarterback. And I don't know where they're going to get one from. But with free agency, there's enough of them out there that they can find a quarterback somewhere. Just like college is not necessarily leaning on getting recruits out of high school anymore. They go into the portal. Quarterbacks in the NFL are going to come from free agency from proven players. You're going to have to pay them. They're paying them anyway. A lot of them getting paid to sit on the bench. So that's not going to make much of a difference anymore. But Pittsburgh, they'll find a quarterback somewhere. So their key this year is to keep Rodgers upright. And they got to make the catches when they come to him. And they got to find Metcalf a way to get more involved. Also, the defense's secondary got to play much better. Reduce those penalties. And when they go man-to-man, you got to catch the ball, you got to tackle him because otherwise they're going to be running free. And that's been a problem the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how that works out for them in the long run. But anyway, I just wanted to come on and see what you had to say about Chiefs and the way they're playing right now and recap what's going on down there in Baton Rouge. Big mess. You fired the coach, but what about the AD? You know, the AD is responsible for bringing in Kelly, and they're going to have to pay this $50 million buyout. He's also the same guy that hired Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. They paid a $70 million buyout. So he's worth big contracts, and then they don't work. That ain't good, but he still got a job. So when is he going to get canned? But one note about, on the way out, one note about Kelly and Jimbo Fisher and Billy Napier. Whatever they buy out is, those universities have to pay them 50% of that within 30 days. So Brian Kelly is going to have a very Merry Christmas. So is Billy Napier. So did Jimbo Fisher. Anybody else that got fired. And just like Jimbo Fisher didn't come right back to coach, that would have been me. You fire me, I'm calling John Gruden. We're going to hang out on Sunday or Saturday, and we're going to watch all these coaches stress and struggle. We're going to analyze the game. We're going to break down the film. And then at the end of the day, we won't lose the game. And we're getting paid as if we was already on the field because you gave us a nice cushy buyout. So fire me. I wouldn't give a damn because just like James Franklin, he's going to find another job. And he's going to be replaced, in my opinion, by Brian Kelly. And it's going to go on and on and on until the next round of firings about this time next year. So keep your eyes open for that. So I got to get up out of here, man. The bell ring. So I got to go wherever you are in the world. You have a great day. 2 more days until more NFL football. We want to see what Jackson looks like when he comes back and see if Baltimore can start looking like an NFL team. Even though they put Band-Aid on that defense, they still ain't that good. I think the best matchup this year, and we won't see it because they played last year, the Cowboys offense against the Ravens defense and vice versa. We might have the all-time highest scoring game in NFL history, put up about 135 points. And because neither one of those teams can stop anybody. And that's just the way it is. All right, one last check on this poll, still 50%. Thelmo Fudd, JC, Navoya Brown. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side unless there's some breaking news. I'll see you in the morning. Until then, have a great day. I'm out. Got to get my Steelers right.